Welcome to our on-demand webinar training series, brought to you by Tomorrow's Technology Today, hosted by Katie Kramer and Amy Spriggs. Today, we'd like to welcome you to our Microsoft Word and Excel training webinar. Today's webinar, again, will be recorded, and I want you to definitely ask those questions in that Q&A, and I will be monitoring that today. Our presenter today is Katie Kramer. Katie is a training and project specialist for TTech-T, offering Office 365 and security awareness training. Katie has over 15 years of experience in the IT field and a degree in business information systems. I'd like to welcome Katie Kramer.
Thank you so much, Amy, and welcome everybody. We're so glad that you could join us today. So we are going to kind of move through this a little faster than normal, just because we have a lot to talk about. It was very interesting putting this together because I use Excel, but I don't use all of the different features and functionality that are available, and I want to make sure that we get those in your hands. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about applies to Word and Excel, and that is just how to save to OneDrive. We get this question quite a bit, and I think it causes some confusion with the different save options that are available. So all you have to do to save to OneDrive is go to File, and then go to your Save As. And from here, you can select OneDrive. If you have SharePoint set up as well, you can also use that. If you don't have SharePoint and you're interested, please feel free to give us a call. But I just want to let you know that that option is there. Otherwise, if you want to go and save it locally onto your computer, you can do that from here in other locations. So I just want to let everybody know that that's where those options are. And then once you hit whichever location you want to save it to, just give it a name and click save. So I do also want to talk about the different save options. So there's save, which is when the document is already saved in a location. Then there's also the save as, which we're used to. I think the part that throws people is the save a copy. So this will prompt you to save a copy using the same dialog box as save as. So you will have the ability to change the file name and or location. If you choose the file name, if you choose the same file name and location, it will overwrite the original. So if you change the name or location of the document, you will be working on the original document, not the copy. This means that if you make additional changes and then you hit save, the original will be overwritten with the new changes, but the copy you saved earlier will be left at the state of save a copy. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know that when that feature came into 365, that threw a lot of people for a loop. So just wanted to talk about that real quick. The next thing that I want to talk about is the sharing capability. So I think we try and cover this every time that we talk about the different Microsoft applications. But if you want to collaborate in Word or Excel, you can use the share button on the ribbon, or you can also do the file and then go to share. And that's going to bring up your different sharing options. So let's say that I want to share from OneDrive, or if I want to save it to OneDrive, and then I can share it from there. I can also, if I do want to attach a copy from Word or from a PDF, I can do that. And then I can just throw that in an email. Let's see. Let me just do a test document real quick. We'll do file. So now that it is saved, now I have the option if I want to share it within my own organization, or if I need to give it to specific people, and then also if I want them to be able to edit. Or again, if you want to copy the link or share it with Outlook, you can do that. Or if you just want to send a copy, you can drop down that menu as well. So once you share the copy, now you are able to co-edit. So for the best experience, work together in Word for the web, and you can see the real-time changes. So that means that you'll want to go to portal.office.com, click the little waffle and go down to Word and open the document from there. And then up at the top, you'll be able to see, like, you'll have your own name, for your account up at the top, and then you'll see whoever else is signed into the document that you shared it with. Same is true if you're working in SharePoint and you have the document pulled up from SharePoint. You'll be able to see the changes. Also, you are able to go back through if you want to track changes. Click on the Review tab over here and go to Track Changes. So from here you can see, let's see. Here you can see the different changes that are in there. So now it'll give you a little comment box, who made the change and when they made the change, and then what they actually did to it. That way you can go back through and you can tell it if you want to accept those changes or if you want to remove them. The next thing that I want to talk about is using the templates. So when you first open up Word or you go to File New, if you already have Word open, you are going to have a ton of different templates that you can use. So this gives you a nice jump start if you kind of have your ideas and you just need something to help you get organized. It can be a calendar, resume, invitation, whatever your kind of document that you want it to be. They have a ton of free included templates out there that you can use. So I just wanted to point that out. Dictate. So
Sorry,
go ahead.
Just say, Katie, that's one of those options that most of us wish we would have had when we were in school,
Yes.
because this really does have your beginning everything. Some really great resumes, some really great, beginnings of papers. I mean, you can see here the APA style, MLA style, it's all in here already. Now, I know many of you who have children in school probably already know this, but this is a nice, simple template, and it is ready to go for you, and it has the notes and everything with it. So I do highly encourage these.
Absolutely. All right, and then let's get my mouse back here. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is dictate. So you can read to Word. If you have a microphone on your computer, you can read and it'll do the typing for you. Oh, it's on the Home tab. And then over here to dictate. So now it's listening to me and it's just going to start typing whatever I say. So that is super convenient to have. And I also wish we would have had this when we were in school. All those 5-page essays or those kinds of things that you can just talk. I'm going to tell it to stop. So you can also stop it, which is nice to have. And then here you have all your different settings that you need. So it'll use auto punctuation. If you need a profanity filter, you can do that. And then whichever language the person is speaking as well.
I personally love that profanity filter is added in. That's pretty hilarious.
I love that they did that. All right, and then on the flip side of that, if you want Word to read to you, so let's say that you have one of those 5-page essays that you need to work through and you want someone to read it to you, go to your View tab and go to Immersive Reader. And wherever you have your cursor is where it's going to start. And then just click on Read Aloud. And you can jump around if you want to, you can change the speed, you have all those different options in there. And it's also kind of nice because it makes it a little easier to read, I think as well. Let's close out of that.
I think that's a nice way to, with the reader, if you have any issues, like I have some issues with vision fatigue from looking at the screen all the time. If you have a long document that you need to read, you could, copy paste it in here if it's not already in a Word document or not already in something that the Immersive Reader can read, and then just hit that read button and at least get that first reading of that draft done without using your eyes on that screen.
Absolutely. So the next thing that I want to talk about is opening a PDF in Word. So to open a PDF file without converting it to a Word document, open the file directly wherever it's stored. For example, double click the PDF that's in your documents folder. However, if you want to edit the PDF file, go ahead and open it in Word. So this is where Word makes a copy of the PDF, converting it to a Word document and then attempting to match a layout of the original PDF. So that's where it gets kind of interesting, depending if it's just text, it's probably fine. But if it has like different, any kind of pictures or sometimes graphs or charts can kind of throw it off. So if you have, you'll always have the original PDF file in case you don't want to keep the version that Word converts to. So converting from PDF to Word works best, again, with files that are mostly text. So you just kind of have to be careful because sometimes you do lose a little bit of the formatting when you do that. All right, does anyone have any questions on Word?
Don't see any questions in there just yet. Feel free, like I said, to go ahead and type those in the Q&A box, or if you want to, you can put them in the chat and we'll make sure we get those answered for you.
So here is kind of the bulk of our webinar today that I want to make sure that we have enough time to cover. So going through Excel, I decided that it's probably easier to let you guys know the resources that are available to you. I mean, you can definitely use the bookings link that I have in my email signature from those emails that you get letting you know when the webinar is going to start or what webinars we have coming up. So that gives you time with me and we can talk through whatever projects that you have. But I also wanted to let you know, if you go up to the help at the top of your Excel or really any of your Microsoft applications and go to show training, from here, it'll give you the options of whatever kind of training that you want to do. And it's got all the videos with it. And it kind of walks you through the different features that are available. So I went through today and I did the templates that we have. So again, I just wanted to let you guys know that these are out there because typically when you're working with things such as all the different formulas that they have, or if you want to create a pivot table or a pivot chart, and some of those other new features that they have, it's a lot easier to kind of, especially if you have two screens, you can put whatever you're working up with on one screen and then put the tutorial or the template on the other screen and kind of walk through all the different steps that you have rather than just trying to catch it on a webinar when we're trying to get through everything in 30 minutes. So this is take a tour. So this is all the different basic features and functionality that we have within Excel. So if you just go to help and go to show training over here on the right hand side of your screen, go down to the bottom and that's where you're going to find the template for this. So if you want to open it up now and follow along, you can, or if you just want to know that that is out there. So I'm going to click on let's go. So again, if you notice down here at the bottom, all these different tabs, whatever you're trying to do, if you need some help with your charts or drop downs, things like that. So here you can see it's going to give you, here's what you need to do, and then here's just some sample data for you to kind of play around with, and then kind of some descriptions down here at the bottom. But I love that they did this. I love that they are explaining where and how to use some of these different features and functionality. So sorry, so the first one was for adding. So if you just need to do basic math, here you can go through and you can add up all your different fruit, meat, whatever you are trying to add up. On the fill tab, here we have kind of just another way to do the different calculations. And then if you just need to drag text down, like if you have like the same number over and over again, put it in a couple cells and then wait for it to show the little plus symbol. And from there, you can just drag that down. And if you're counting up by 10, for example, it'll do that. Or if you just need 100, you can do that as well. Like I said, just type it in and wait until you get that little plus and then just drag it down for as many times as you need to, or as many rows as you need to. Let's see. And also at the bottom of all these different sheets, it'll show you if you need more information. Here you can go out and you can see more articles and videos on what you're trying to do. Let's see, I don't want to go through all of these because I know that'll take a long time. Tables, obviously, that's a big thing in Excel. So when you go through and you're putting in your data, make sure that you give your data a name, make that table, that way you have it for a reference, and then kind of as your spreadsheet grows, you're able to go back and you can reference those tables. You can create drop downs. So this is really nice. If you have, let's say that you have a spreadsheet that has a couple hundred rows of data and you just need to be able to sort the thing. If you create these drop-down lists, that's going to give you the option to categorize, or like if you have certain departments and you just need to see everyone within your human resources department, or a certain product that you're selling, and kind of keeping track of that. It'll show you, like, let's say we could create a drop-down list for only the fruit to show in this list. So again, you're going to want to make a table, and from there you're able to add those drop-downs in. Pivot tables, we actually have another template that we're going to use. But yeah, these are just kind of the first, like the top 10 features that they have that kind of to get you started using Excel. So again, just wanted to let you guys know that those are out there for you. Pivot tables. So I know it used to be a lot of people would get intimidated by pivot tables and kind of how to use them and what they were for. But basically, they're just used to analyze data to reveal patterns and trends. So let's say that you want to use it for tracking your sales or product, things like that. This will walk you through just the very basic of what is it, and then you can just sit here and you can use the wizard and it'll walk you through the example. If you want to make a chart, it'll let you know, hey, here's how you make a chart, here's what it would look like. And then from there, if you want to go back through and format it, you can do that as well. So I love that they did this. So now it walks you all the way through how to create a pivot table. So very nice to have if you have questions as you're trying to make your pivot table. Of course, you can go through and you can customize it however you want, whatever makes sense for how the data is laid out. You can do that. Just let me know if you have questions.
You may get me having questions. I'm like, ooh, I've always been one of those people who's scared of pivot tables. And
yes,
I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of data to analyze in the marketing world. So I could probably update a few of mine. So you might get questions from me. So again, don't forget, I know we have a couple people who jumped on since we started. Feel free to ask questions in that Q&A in the chat, and I will get those to Katie.
All right, and then the last template that I wanted to show you is for formulas. So this is the other giant that we have within Excel that a lot of people, I think, get intimidated by. But this nice little template goes through and it shows you what all these different functions are for and when to use the functions or formulas. So as you go through, here are the basics. So very nice to have, and this is kind of like Excel 101 that you can go through and it'll break it down to show you like what you're doing, what all this means, because it is very overwhelming and it was always very intimidating to try and learn Excel. So I love that they've broken it down and now it's manageable bites to get your work done. If you want to use functions, you can do that as well. Here's just kind of, they have an introduction to functions. So as you go through, if you want to do averages, you can do that. It tells you exactly the steps. So let's see. VLOOKUP, I feel like, was always pretty popular. Yeah, one of the most widely used functions in Excel. So this lets you look up a value in a column on the left, then returns information in another column to the right if it finds a match. So basically it's going through and saying what it's looking for over on the left. So makes it nice to have. Let's see. Something else that I wanted to talk about besides some of these overwhelming features within Excel. So Microsoft has the ability to take, like if you have a picture or if you have a table on a document and on a printed document and you want to get it into Excel, you can do that. And I will put a video together and we'll have to share that with you guys on how to do this. But basically the steps are that you go to the App Store, and it doesn't matter if you're using an Android or an iOS device, but you're going to install Microsoft Office, like the actual Office app. And then you're going to click on Actions and then click on Image to Table. Take a photo of the table with the data and then select the data that you want to bring into Excel. So if you don't need the whole table, you can just grab whatever columns that you need or whatever rows that you need, click on confirm. And then tell it to open. It's going to take that printed document and now you have it within Excel. So now if you want to, you can also share it with yourself so that you can get to it on your desktop, and from there you can manipulate the data however you want.
Katie,
So
I'd
I
love
thought that was pretty cool, and I'm so
that.
sorry I'm so sorry we don't have the camera going today so I can show you what that actually looks like, but I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, definitely we'll create that and we will share that out. What I'll probably do, Katie, is once we create that, we'll add it to our YouTube channel, but I'll also share it out on our social media as well. And we can add it to the website, just a quick video. That is such an awesome feature. I mean, I think about the meetings and times I've gone to something and I'm like, oh, I really wish I had this document to set it up this way or to do this or that. And you know, then you have to recreate the document because you have a hard copy. This allows you to bypass that step of recreating the wheel and allows you then to just use that document the best way you need to, which is awesome.
Love that. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about with Excel is data types. So data types are linked data that connects to reputable sources, I cannot talk today, of data, such as Bing, Power BI, so that you can access information about a wide variety of subjects without ever leaving Excel. So there are a lot of linked data types available with more to come. So you can do things like movies, geography, stocks, all those kinds of things. So here you can see that mine is turned on. So it recognizes that I want to convert to geography. So I'm going to click on that. So just by typing in Dayton, Columbus, and Cincinnati, now I have these nice little links. So here's Dayton, and it'll tell me a little bit about Dayton. And if I want to learn more, I can go learn more on Bing and search from there. But I love that they have like population, things like that. I thought this was cool too, like you can do it for movies as well. I don't have movies added to this one, but if you want to do that, it'll tell you like the little description about the movie. So if you're thinking about any new movie that's coming out, you can do that and it'll give you all the details on it. So I thought this was cool. All right, does anyone have any questions?
Sorry about that. I was having trouble getting my button back on there. I do not see anyone typing anything in just yet, but I could see another function with that, possibly being if you were going to do some travel, for work, you could add some of these things in there and it could give you really easy access, or maybe it's not you personally doing it. Maybe it's an admin using this feature to help with travel. There's lots of information out there, and obviously, many companies already have their travel plans already set up, but this could be a really easy way to maybe put that all together.
That's a great idea. Great point. So I want to point out too, if you look within the panel for our meeting under the handout section, you'll see the quick start guides for Word and Excel. So you are more than welcome to save those to your computer if you want to have those available for reference. Kind of another handy something for, another handy resource. So let's see, so our next webinar is on May 12th, and that will be on PowerPoint and Sway.
Yes, and I will add in the chat here just a second so everyone can see it, the address to go to. It's the same address you would have registered for today. So it's tomtechtoday.com/training webinar. And when you go to that page, you can register for the next in the event. I will tell you, if you register right now, it's probably still going to bring you to today's. So you'll have to maybe give that till tomorrow morning before you do that re-registering because of our automation process, because we want to make sure we get you that email tomorrow morning. And so we have to keep part of that there. So you can also, I know a few of you have taken advantage of this, register for our entire series. And the good thing about registering for these webinars is not only that, yes, you can attend when it's time, but if you cannot attend, we automatically email you a copy of the recording. So at the very least, you'll get a copy of the recording if you register. So I recommend just register for the whole series. That way you get all of them. If you want to watch them, great. If they're not for you, you can delete that email. Totally fine. So any other questions before we are all through today? I'll give you a couple seconds here. Feel free to type away. Katie, anything else that you think we should add today?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, it looks like all of our questions were answered today. Thank you again, Katie. And again, reminder, I will have this sent out to you tomorrow morning with a copy. That way you can check it out. And hopefully you got something great out of today's presentation. And we look forward to seeing you on the next. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.